across the galaxy's edge, where humans and aliens learned to dream together. The stars had always been silent to humankind. For centuries, people on Earth looked up, searching for signs that someone, somewhere, was looking back. But when the signal finally came, it was not what anyone expected. It began as a soft pulse, 3 beats, then silence, then 3 again. The signal repeated every hour, coming from a distant region of the Milky Way near a dying star. Scientists first thought it was a natural phenomenon, maybe a pulsar or the echo of a collapsing world. But Dr. Lira Han, an astrophysicist from the United Nations Space Observatory, heard something different in those beats. "It's a language," she whispered as the rhythmic pattern flashed on her console. "They're trying to talk to us." Within days, every news network across Earth carried the story. The signal was named Echo 9, and the eyes of humanity turned to the stars once again. Governments argued about what to do. Some said to respond immediately. Others warned that replying could bring danger. But curiosity, as always, won over fear. The Celestial Voyager, Earth's first interstellar research vessel, was launched to investigate. Its crew was made up of scientists, engineers, and dreamers from every nation. They were bound together by one purpose: to find the source of the signal and meet whoever had sent it. Among them was Captain Aaron Sol, a quiet man who had spent his life studying the skies. He didn't believe in fate, but something deep inside him whispered that this mission would change everything. As the Voyager left Earth's orbit and entered deep space, Aaron looked back one last time at the blue world fading behind him. "Let's go see who's calling," he said softly. Months passed as the ship traveled through the cold sea of stars. The crew studied the signal continuously, mapping its origin near the Hellion Verge, a mysterious border of the galaxy where radiation storms and dark matter clouds twisted space itself. Few probes had ever made it back from that region. When they finally reached the verge, their instruments went silent. Then, a beam of light appeared ahead of them, shifting colors, bending reality itself. Out of that light emerged something vast, metallic, and alive. It was a ship, but unlike any built by human hands. The alien craft moved with slow grace, covered in geometric patterns that pulsed like living skin. Then, to everyone's astonishment, it sent a message. Not through sound, but through light and emotion. A wave of peace, curiosity, and recognition. Lyra's voice trembled as she translated the data. "They're saying, 'Welcome, children of the blue star.'" The bridge went silent. Humanity had made first contact. But none of them knew that this meeting at the galaxy's edge would mark not just the beginning of understanding, but of something far greater. It would be the moment when two civilizations began to dream together. The alien ship hovered like a silver moon above the celestial Voyager, its surface reflecting the faint light of distant stars. The two vessels drifted side by side, silent and watchful. Every human heart aboard the Voyager beat faster, with a mix of fear and wonder. Captain Aaron Sol stood before the holographic display, staring at the alien ship's glowing patterns. "What are they waiting for?" he asked quietly. Dr. Lira Han adjusted her translator module. "Maybe the same thing we are," she replied. "A sign that it's safe to trust." Moments later, the alien vessel sent another wave of signals, flashes of color and shapes forming in space, followed by musical tones that vibrated through the hull of the human ship. The patterns repeated, shifting into softer, rhythmic spirals. Lira smiled. "They're inviting us to respond," she said. The crew spent hours composing a reply, music, light, and simple images encoded in energy waves. When they transmitted it, the alien ship shimmered in response. A bright corridor of light extended from its hull, connecting the two ships like a glowing bridge. "Permission to board, Captain?" Lira asked, her voice trembling with excitement. Aaron took a deep breath. "Granted. Let's make history." Wearing their suits, Lira, Aaron, and a small team stepped onto the bridge of light. It felt solid yet weightless, humming beneath their boots as if it were made of living energy. As they reached the alien airlock, the doors opened with a gentle hiss. Inside, The walls glowed with soft hues that shifted like water. Strange symbols floated in the air, moving like whispers. The air was breathable, though heavy with a sweet metallic scent. Then they appeared. The Ilarians, tall, slender beings with luminous skin that shimmered like mist. Their eyes were deep pools of light, filled not with threat, but with endless curiosity. One of them stepped forward, their movement slow and graceful. A soft pulse echoed in the human suits, a signal, a word. Lyra's translator blinked. "We have waited for your kind." The humans froze, speechless. Aaron finally stepped forward and spoke carefully. "We are explorers from Earth. We heard your signal." The Ilarian tilted their head. "We sent a dream," came the translated voice, calm and melodic. "To see who would listen." That was the moment it began, not just communication but understanding. Over the following days, the Ilarians and humans exchanged knowledge. They shared images of their worlds, Earth's blue oceans and green forests, Ilaria's twin suns and crystal plains. The Ilarians were fascinated by human art, music, and imagination. They called it the dreaming flame, something their species had lost long ago in pursuit of logic and order. Humans, in return, were amazed by Ilarian technology, machines that healed, energy that sang, and ships that could bend light itself. Lira found herself spending long hours with an Ilarian named Sarai, who taught her how they perceived the universe. "We do not see stars as you do," Sarai explained. "To us, each one is a thought in the mind of existence. Together, they form the great dream that holds all life." One night, Lira played an old Earth melody on her violin, a soft tune that echoed through the alien halls. The Ilarians gathered, glowing brighter as they listened. When she finished, Sarai placed a hand over her heart. "Your music," they said softly, "reminds us how to feel." As days turned to weeks, fear faded into friendship. The humans learned that the Ilarians had once been explorers, too. Long ago, they had traveled across galaxies seeking other minds. But when they found only silence, they began to believe they were alone. Their civilization turned inward, slowly losing the art of dreaming. "We forgot how to wonder," Sarai admitted, "until your signal answered our own." On the final day of their stay aboard the alien ship, Captain Aaron looked out into the stars. The Ilarian fleet shimmered beyond the dark horizon, waiting. "We came looking for knowledge," he said to Lira, "but maybe what we found is something far greater, a reflection of what we could become." Lira smiled softly. "Or what we might have lost if we stopped dreaming." As the two ships prepared to part, a joint message was sent into the galaxy, a new signal crafted by both species. A harmony of light and sound, filled with the essence of two worlds learning to speak as one. The message said, "Across the galaxy's edge, we are no longer alone. We are dreamers together." But their journey was far from over. For the signal they sent would awaken others, beings who had been listening in the dark. Months passed since the historic meeting between humans and the Ilarians. The story of their union spread like wildfire across both civilizations. On Earth, people gathered around screens and radios to hear transmissions from the celestial Voyager. Children painted stars with glowing bridges between them, calling it the Dream Path. For the first time in history, the galaxy did not feel endless and empty, it felt alive. Humanity and the Ilarians began building the Dream Alliance, a shared effort to explore the unknown regions beyond the Helion Verge. The project's purpose was simple but powerful, to seek knowledge and protect the harmony that had just begun to bloom between their worlds. Captain Aaron Sol and Dr. Lira Han were chosen to lead humanity's representatives in this grand mission. Beside them stood Sarai and other Ilarian scholars, whose luminous forms gave the bridge of the Voyager a glow of alien light. Together, they prepared to chart what lay beyond the galaxy's edge, a region known only in myths and fragments of data. The Ilarians spoke of it in whispers. "The umbral expanse," Sarai said, her voice echoing like song. "It is where light goes to sleep. No traveler who entered it ever returned." But curiosity is the twin flame of courage. And so, the Voyager and an Illyrian vessel named Oriel set their course toward the expanse, united by purpose and wonder. As they journeyed deeper, the stars around them began to fade. Space turned darker, thicker, as if filled with invisible dust. Energy fields fluctuated. Instruments failed. Then came the voices. At first, faint static, patterns of sound buried in the background radiation. Then, whispers that grew into haunting echoes. Lyra listened through her headset and froze. It's the same rhythm as the original signal, she said in disbelief. But it's twisted, like something repeating it from far away. The ship slowed. Strange shapes appeared in the darkness, remnants of old vessels, drifting and broken. Their surfaces were scorched, their hulls marked with circular scars that pulsed faintly with light. Sarai's expression darkened. "These are the first wanderers," she said quietly. "Our ancestors who went searching for others eons ago. We thought they were lost." The Voyager's crew sent drones to scan the wreckage. What they found chilled everyone. Fragments of alien metal fused with something organic, as if the ships had been devoured. Then, a pulse rippled through the void, a deep vibration that shook both ships. The darkness around them began to move, swirling like liquid night. From it emerged a colossal shape, its body made of shadow and light intertwined. Lyra gasped. "It's alive!" The creature was unlike anything they had ever seen. It was neither machine nor organism, but something in between, an ancient intelligence that had slept for eons, awakened by the new harmony of human and Illyrian signals. Through the translator, a low, broken voice echoed. "Dreamers, you should not have come." The entity called itself the Veilborn, the last remnant of a civilization that had once ruled the stars long before either humans or Illyrians existed. They had sought to control dreams, bending the will of other species through energy and thought. But when they turned on each other, they were consumed by the very force they created, the dream void, a field that devoured imagination and light alike. Aaron stepped forward, his voice steady. "We mean no harm. We came seeking knowledge, not war." The Veilborn's form shimmered, its voice a whisper of 1,000 echoes. "Knowledge is never free. You have awakened the dream again. It will feed unless you let it rest." The darkness trembled as tendrils of energy lashed out, striking both ships. Systems overloaded. The Voyager spun as lights flickered out. "Shields failing," shouted the engineer. Aaron gripped the console. "Lyra, can we communicate with it?" She shook her head. "It's not listening, it's feeling. It reacts to emotion, not words." Sarai closed her eyes, her luminous skin dimming. "Then we must give it peace," she said. "We must show it that dreams can heal, not consume." Together, Lyra and Sarai began to channel signals of harmony, waves of sound and color merging into a single pulse. They sent images of Earth and Illyria, of music, laughter, art, and unity. The frequencies intertwined, forming a melody that echoed across the void. The Veilborn paused. Its body flickered, trembling. Then, slowly, it began to dissolve, its voice fading into silence. "The dream lives again, but do not forget what sleep took from us." When the light returned, the umbral expanse was empty once more. The two ships floated in silence, damaged but alive. Aaron exhaled heavily. "We just spoke to the past," he said softly. "To the ghosts of the first dreamers." Sarai looked at the fading starlight ahead. "And they warned us that dreaming together can create as much danger as hope." The crew began repairs, but something new lingered in the air. Not fear, but purpose. The Veilborn had not destroyed them, it had tested them. Humanity and Illyria had survived the first great trial of unity. But deep within the data they recovered from the wreckage, Lyra discovered something else, a map encoded within the Veilborn's dying energy. It pointed further beyond the galaxy, to a place marked with one word in alien script: the cradle. The discovery of the map changed everything. The encoded signal found within the Veilborn's energy field was more than just a set of coordinates. It was a story written in light, a memory left behind by the first beings who had learned to dream. The data suggested that the cradle was a structure beyond the galaxy itself, older than any known civilization. The Ilarians believed it was a myth, the place where the first consciousness had awakened, where thought had turned into creation. But now, myth was becoming truth. After months of preparation, the celestial voyager and the Oriel set course for the coordinates. The journey was long and perilous. Beyond the Helion verge, the stars grew thin. The familiar constellations disappeared. Even space seemed to ripple, as if reality itself was growing weary. Captain Aaron's soul stood on the bridge, watching the darkness ahead. "Feels like we're sailing into a dream," he murmured. Dr. Lira Han smiled faintly. "Or the place where dreams begin." As they traveled deeper, strange visions filled the crew's minds. They saw fragments of their past, childhood memories, lost loved ones, moments of wonder and pain. It was as though the space around them was alive, reflecting their inner selves. "The cradle is near," Sarai whispered. "It senses us." Then, without warning, the void opened. A vast structure appeared before them, suspended in the endless dark, a sphere of shimmering light, so enormous it dwarfed both ships. Its surface was covered in spirals of golden energy, like veins glowing beneath glass. Lira gasped. "It's beautiful." The ships approached slowly, guided by invisible forces. The energy around the cradle resonated with their systems, stabilizing them. It was as if the structure welcomed them. Inside, they found a vast expanse filled with floating crystals, each pulsing softly with light. Every pulse carried a memory of laughter, of sorrow, of discovery. It was a living archive of dreams from countless worlds. "The cradle is collecting consciousness," Lira realized. "Every dream ever born, every thought that shaped a life, it's all stored here." Sarai touched one of the crystals, and a vision appeared before them. An ancient world, filled with luminous beings, the first dreamers. They created life through imagination, shaping matter with thought. But over time, their creations grew beyond their control. Fearing destruction, they sealed their knowledge within the cradle and vanished into legend. Captain Aaron watched the vision fade. "So this is where everything began," he whispered. "Dreams created reality." Lira turned to Sarai. "That means humans and Ilarians were not separate accidents of evolution. We're connected through the same origin, the same dream." The realization left everyone silent. For the first time, they understood why both species had been drawn to each other. They were fragments of the same cosmic imagination, born from the same light. But as they explored further, the structure began to tremble. The cradle was unstable, its energy corrupted by the centuries-old scars left by the Veilborn. The crystalline archives began to crack, releasing waves of chaotic dreams, uncontrolled images, and emotions flooding the chamber. The visions turned dark. Scenes of war, loss, and despair filled the air. The beauty of creation twisted into nightmares. "The cradle is breaking," shouted Lira. "If it collapses, all consciousness linked to it, including ours, could be destroyed." Sarai's eyes glowed brighter. "We can stabilize it. The cradle responds to emotion, to the harmony between minds. We must unite, humans and Ilarians, and give it balance." They gathered in the central chamber, humans on one side, Ilarians on the other. Together, they formed a circle, linking their minds through the translator field. Aaron's voice was calm but firm. "We came here because we believed in the dream of unity. Let's prove it's real." Slowly, they began to share memories, moments of courage, compassion, and hope. Lira thought of Earth's oceans. Sarai thought of Ilaria's twin suns. Their images blended into a single tapestry of color and sound. The cradle responded. The chaotic energy began to settle, its light shifting into harmony. The crystals glowed again, brighter than before. Then, a voice echoed through the chamber, deep, gentle, and ancient. "The dream endures, reborn, through those who remember its purpose." The vision of the first dreamers returned, but this time they were smiling. They showed humanity and the Illyrians standing together beneath a single sky. "Guard the dream," the voice said. "Do not let it fade into silence again." The light enveloped everyone. When it faded, the cradle had grown still, no longer decaying, but pulsing with renewed life. Lira looked around, tears in her eyes. "We did it," she whispered. "We healed the heart of the universe." Sarai smiled, her glow soft and warm. "No," she said. "We reminded it how to dream." As the two ships prepared to depart, a new path opened in the void, a corridor of light leading back toward their galaxy. They had found not just the source of dreams, but the bridge between all living beings. Captain Aaron looked at the glowing stars ahead. "Let's go home," he said. "There's a story to tell, one the universe will never forget." The journey back from the cradle felt different. Space no longer seemed cold or empty. It was alive with meaning, every star humming softly like a heartbeat. The crew of the Celestial Voyager and the Oriel had seen what no one else had ever seen, the birthplace of consciousness, the heart of all dreaming. For weeks, both ships sailed through the luminous corridor that led them back toward their galaxy. The path itself shimmered with shifting colors, as if reality were celebrating their return. Dr. Lira Han sat by the viewport, her reflection merging with the drifting starlight. "When I was a child," she said softly, "I used to wish the stars could speak. Now I think they always did. We just didn't know how to listen." Beside her, Sarai smiled gently. "And now that you've learned to listen," she said, "you can teach others to dream again." When the two ships finally emerged from the Helion verge, the galaxy welcomed them with the light of 1,000 suns. On Earth, their return was celebrated across every nation. People gathered in parks, cities, and deserts to watch the transmission from the Voyager. Captain Aaron Soul stood before the camera, his expression calm but full of emotion. "We went beyond the stars searching for others," he said, his voice echoing across every screen. "We found not just life, but reflection, proof that we are all part of one great dream. Humans, Illyrians, and all who live among the stars share a common beginning. We are connected through the same spark that gave birth to imagination." Behind him, Lira added, "The cradle showed us that dreaming is the universe's oldest language. It's what binds reality together. When we create, when we love, when we hope, we are echoing the same dream that began long before us." The speech was translated into the Illyrian tongue and broadcast across their twin worlds. For the first time, both species shared the same moment, hearts synchronized through light and sound. Soon, joint missions began between Earth and Illyria. Cities on both planets built great domes of glass and light called dream spires, where humans and Illyrians studied art, music, science, and philosophy together. Children learned about both worlds as one, about Earth's oceans and Illyria's twin suns, about the courage of exploration and the wisdom of peace. They painted stars in their classrooms and called them dream bridges. Lira spent her days teaching at the newly built Academy of Unity, where she helped decode the knowledge gathered from the cradle. Sarai worked beside her, sharing the wisdom of her people and the harmony of their ways. Captain Aaron Soul, ever the explorer, led a new fleet, not of conquest, but of connection. The Dream Fleet, as it was called, traveled to distant worlds, carrying messages of friendship and curiosity. Everywhere they went, they shared one truth, that dreaming together was the first step toward understanding. But the greatest moment came years later, when Earth's night sky shimmered with something new. The Illyrians, using their technology, helped humans build a great ring of light in orbit, a beacon visible from every corner of the planet. It glowed softly in the heavens, shaped like the ancient symbol of the cradle, a spiral of gold. Its purpose was not for communication or defense, but as a reminder. The inscription beneath it read, "And as the stars drifted past, she whispered the words that had carried them all this way. We are dreamers together." Epilogue. The endless horizon. Far beyond the Milky Way, in the quiet space where the cradle still shone, A soft light pulsed once more. It carried new dreams, laughter, hope, music, flowing from Earth, from malaria, from countless other worlds now joined in the Dream Alliance. And in that endless silence, the voice of the ancient dreamers whispered again. The universe breathes in dreams. As long as one heart dares to imagine, we are never alone.